Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. So we're going to continue this week with revisiting older bands, and one of the, well, as usual, it's kind of the theme this week. This one is highly requested. Um, I did a reaction of them previously, and I thought that their musical styling was really good. Their musicianship was fantastic. I just wasn't a real big fan of their compositional technique. Um, they were lacking parts that I felt made or elevated the song. So, if you saw my reaction to Polyphia Goats or Goat, I don't remember actually. I don't remember if it has an S or not. Um, that was kind of my opinion of them. They were fantastic musicians, great riff writers, but they lacked a strong central story or melody. So lots of people have requested Polyphia. We have pot roast. Tiny text. I really got to fix that. Full Metal Aimak. Sorry if I butchered that. Tundra L5Z and Golden Pie 6. And not a single one of them requested the same song. Guys, you gotta coordinate a little bit more. You make this hard on me. So, I went into a YouTube search and I pulled up the first one that matched one of the recommendations. And it happens to be OD. So that's what we're going to get into today. And right off the bat, I appreciate their attention to visual detail. They are not recording in 1080p or some other 1.8 to 1 ratio. This looks like it's a 2.35 to 1 ratio. It's more cinematic. This is what a lot of movies are recorded at, the aspect ratio. So I like that attention to detail. Kind of giving them more of a cinematic flair. But we're here for the music, so let's get into this. Amazing display of skill already, as expected. Aw, great bit of silence there. Alright. I'm digging where this is going. Real nice way to bring that in. There's a lot more structure to the song, to this one. I'm really appreciating. Really good counterpoint here. Oh. I don't know if those are delayed attack notes or if those are playing in reverse, but it has that ramping into feel. I'm gonna go with reverse, just based on the visual footage, things are going in reverse. Dang, they wasted no time putting that advertisement in. Alright, so Polyphia OD. I am a lot happier with this song. This hits a lot of the aspects that I was kind of missing from Goat. It had a solid structure. It told a story. It was still heavily riff based. I can't really say that it has a strong melody to it, other than um, the middle section when it kind of brought the tone down, brought the volume down, kind of slowed it down a little bit. There's actually some really nice counterpoint in there. We had two melodies going. Um, they might have been riffs, but I don't think they were repeated. I'd have to go back and give that another listen to kind of hone in on that single detail, but it did. It appeared to be more melodic at that point. Um, Textbook melody, not the idea of being melodic. But I felt that there was actually a story I could listen to here. There was a single idea. There was feelings, emotions trying to be conveyed through the power of music that Goat kind of didn't have. Goat was just a bunch of riffs played next to each other, and while this was still riff based, I felt that the riffs tied into each other a lot stronger. There was more of a central theme in the compositional techniques, and that the transitions were not as harsh and jarring. Uh, as usual, I have to provide the context that harsh, jarring transitions and lack of melody are not negative things. There's no way to write a bad song. It doesn't make for bad writing. It's just my personal preference. Um, I believe I prefer songs to have a little more structure to them. That isn't to say I don't enjoy the odd, rough transition from here and there. But when you make a song completely out of it and you have just 8 rough transitions, I'm probably personally not going to get into that. Um, but back to Polyphia, I mean, these guys are just master technicians. Um, the drum, everything was amazing. His fills were clean. Oh man, this guy has. I mean, his playing is just real clean. That's the only way I can say it. It's very perfect. It's very spot on. It's not messy. There isn't any like I don't even know. It's just a he's a fantastic drummer. His speed, his technicality, the way that he thinks, the way that he views his instruments, even just in his typical riffs, the way that he'll throw in, just 3 or 4 30-second notes on a hi hat between snare hits just to kind of give it that little embellishment, the little ornamentation. Um, it's just, he has a very ornamented style of playing. He can't really just sit still. He has to throw little pieces in. If he has a gap, if his hand has half of a beat sitting still, let's throw something in there. His hand's free, let's do it. And I think that's just it's definitely a style of playing that is on a different level. It's just I know it might not be for everybody. Some people might find it to be noisy, overdone, but I don't know. I think it's just because I have an admiration for drummers. They're using all 4 of their limbs, sometimes more. I mean, I've seen people use their head to hit things before, so people get creative. And the fact that they can create such soundscapes with just, a bunch of limbs and some sticks, and they can create these wide soundscapes. I said that. A lot of instruments can only play a handful of notes at a time. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this because the guitar's got 6 notes, but I don't know. There's just something about drummers. If you have an admiration for drumming, it's you get what I'm saying. I don't know if I can really put it into words, which kind of sucks because that's the whole point of me being a reactor is to put my thoughts into words. But there's just something about drumming. I don't know if it's just because it's so foreign to me. I've played wind and string instruments. Drumming is just it's like a left brain and right brain thing at the same time, and you're using so many limbs and you're thinking more rhythmically usually than melodically. I don't know. It's just the total opposite of what I tend to do, and I think I'm just drawn to it for that reason. But I love highly technical drum playing like this. But that's not to discount the guitarist and the bassist, two guitarists. I don't know. The video was dimly lit, and I don't really remember the much of the details of the last time I checked them out. Um, but anyways, the string players and the rest of the band, they're not schlumps either. They're all tearing it up, and I'm starting to see a trend, with this band of staccato notes, quick succession staccato notes. If you're a guitar player, you'd probably use the term muted. But it's that brink, and you kind of got those harsh, short notes, and he runs down. He does like where's my hand? He runs down the bridge and he hits like 4 or 5 notes in a row, and he basically plays like this muted chord, um, strummed straight down, not at a single time, but in succession, and it's to me it's almost a calling card of this band. They use it in so many other riffs, and I don't really hear it that often in other bands, and it's an excellent way to provide complexity to a rather, well, not necessarily a rather simple riff, but it's a way to easily add in complexity because you could just play the chord straight and then run into your riff. But with this, you get this um, quick succession of notes before you get into your riff, and it just gives it that edge of complexity. It gives it more notes and it gives it a different tone. Usually, the rest of the riff is going to be held out. It's not muted. It's not staccato. Um, so it gives it a different tone, a different feel for parts of your riff, and it's like I said, it's not difficult to do. You're already in the chord position with your left hand. You just gotta strum it a little slower so you get the individual sounds out, and then mute it so you get that plinking sound. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of genius that they can do it, or that they've thought to do it and incorporate it in so many different ways. Um, and it's just, to me, it's their calling card. They did it in Goat. They did it here. I would not be surprised to hear it in other riffs from this band. And it's something that, for me at least, in my musical listening, it's unique to them. So yeah, that's Polyphia. Don't know why I blanked out on that. Oh, this is another song of theirs that is acronymed. I know it's not all of them. Looking through the YouTube search, not all their songs use acronyms, but they do tend to favor them at least 2 songs. That's more than most bands. So cool, cool, good stuff. I am definitely interested in listening to more of them. I love their musicianship. These guys are just at the top of their field at playing the instruments, and the way that they think about riffs is fantastic. I would just really, 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 really love to hear them collaborate with a band or a person who is more melodic. That is just that's such a load. More interested in conventional melody writing. I would love to hear a melody over their music. Um, that isn't to say that I want their music to be pushed to the background. That isn't to say that I want their music to be overdone and forgotten while you listen to, lyrics or another instrument playing a melody line. But I think that their music would fit really well with a melody. I think it's just kind of missing that strong. It's a very good anchor for a song. It's just missing the strong pull to kind of bring it all along. And like I said, this song did it a lot better. There was definitely a story here. There was movement from start to finish. It wasn't just a series of ideas smashed together, and I enjoy that. But I'd really like to see it pushed a little bit further and maybe see their style of playing, their style of composition in a more traditional song. So I think that'd be pretty cool. But on the whole, like I said, I enjoyed this so much better, and I definitely have a strong appreciation for their musicianship. So, what do you guys think about Polyphia? I know I got a lot of comments already on their last video about what you guys thought, but that was a while ago, and I'm sure we have some new faces around here. And I'm always interested to hear new ideas, hear new thoughts and opinions, and to kind of engage in conversations with people about music because music is awesome. So, while you're down there in the comments, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. as usual. Until then, you all have a fantastic day.